All right. All right. What's up, y'all? So, week four has ended. I believe it's week four. And the Rams traveled up to San Francisco to play their division rival, the San Francisco 49ers, on Monday Night Football. And they lost with a final score of 24 to 9, which drops their record down to 2-2 on the 2022 NFL season, and in turn, it raises San Francisco's record to 2-2, giving us a tie with San Francisco for the division. And what did I think? What did I think? Uh, overall, so what I'll do here is I'll kind of give a kind of a basic overview of my thoughts on the game and where I believe we may be heading for this season and what it may mean. And then I'll kind of get into the weeds, I suppose I'll kind of go through each position, kind of kind of talk about it a little bit. Give my thoughts. Give my personal thoughts cuz there's kind of a lot to unpack here. So just sit back, relax, and we'll talk a little bit about Ram football. We'll talk a little bit about Monday night. I know it was a few nights ago, but you know, I needed to think about this a little bit. Needed to think about this a little bit, and that on that and also I've been pretty busy with work, but honestly, a lot happened here, and it kind of clarified a few things for me. And without further ado, what did I think about this game here? Well, I think we lost to the better football team. I think San Francisco was the more physical team, quite clearly. Monday night, I thought their players executed much better than ours did, and despite it, despite that, I we were still in the game for much of the game. I felt like I said, San Francisco dominated us physically, but we had way too many mental errors, way too many mental errors in this game, and from people that generally you really wouldn't think would make them. We'll kind of get into that a little bit there, but missed opportunities. We were nowhere near physical enough. We made a lot of mental errors. We were not efficient in the red zone. I thought we actually, all things considered, with how good San Francisco's D line and defense is, I honestly, I actually thought Sean had a pretty good plan, game plan for the most part going into the game, schematic wise. I believe our failures Monday night were not so much a result of him or his coaching staff, but by the players, to be honest, because I liked kind of what I saw scheme wise with Sean and the coaching staff on the offensive side of the football. Defensive side, uh, defensive side, I thought they played much better than the offense, but our red zone, dude, the red zone was atrocious, absolutely atrocious, and it's something that has to get better. This really isn't gonna be like a bitch fest, to be honest with you. It's I know a lot of people are upset. I was not as upset as I thought I was going to be. Honestly, I just last night's game kind of clarified some things for me, and all that combined kind of led me to certain things. So let's get into it. The defense overall I thought played pretty well, but you could tell they were starting to wear down, and that San Francisco was still mauling us. It was not a fun game to watch. Let me tell you, not a fun game to watch. And I I suppose I'll start with the biggest issue on this team, the offensive line. I guess I'll go ahead and start with the offense and just give my just kind of give my overall thoughts of what I think's going on and what I think the future will be. Offensive line. Here's the thing. They performed very poorly Monday night. All right. Very, very poorly. Here's the thing. The Rams, unfortunately, have had quite the bad luck. All right. Which has kind of tamed my fire a little bit because, as frustrating as it was to watch, the thing is, there's just not much more Sean and his staff can do. We've had so many injuries on the offensive line specifically. We had, let's see, who went down here? Okay, we had Logan Bruss, our rookie, who was supposedly a very exciting player for us, who might fit in at the right guard position and who could, pardon me, help us a lot with the run game. In theory, he's out for the year. His replacement, Tremaine Ankram's out for the year. Our starting center, Brian Allen, has been injured in week one after getting dominated, and he's out. I don't know until when. Coleman Shelton replaced replaced him at the center position. He got hurt this game. He was out. David Edwards, I guess, was having not feeling too great with his concussion, so he was out. So it was dude, we're literally like down to our fourth string O lineman. We had Cologne, Jeremiah Cologne, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's who we had starting at the center position for us on Monday night. Okay, and what's there to say? What's there to say? They got dominated. San Francisco's D line absolutely dominated our O line. They won the battle in the trenches. And y'all keep hearing me. To win, it is very important to win the battle in the trenches if you want to win the football game. It doesn't necessarily happen every time. You can still, teams still do win football games while losing the battle in the trenches, but it's much, 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 much more difficult. And we just couldn't block anything to save our life, dude. Pass blocking, we couldn't give Matthew an end, like we couldn't hold him, we couldn't pass block, we couldn't open up any running holes. It was so atrocious. They were in the backfield within seconds. Poor Matthew had like no time to make any kind of reads. Pardon me, or to like make any follow through on his progressions. Like they were, I don't even know how many sacks they had this game, but it was an ungodly number, and it was way, way too much. But here's the thing, a lot of people are upset at the Rams for their O line situation, and I don't blame them because I'm in the same camp too. But here's the thing is, they have been so ravaged with injuries. Like as much as I want to kind of here, like I said, I'm surprised how I'm not really that mad. It's just it is what it is, and the Rams have had very bad luck with injuries on the offensive line specifically. We've actually had problems with injuries throughout the entire team as a whole for the most part, but we'll get to that in a second. And it's a lot to ask of like your practice squad center to be able to hold up against a team like San Francisco. In the moment he went in, I was like, in my mind thinking, okay, we're kind of fucked here, and it's one of those things where it's just we have what we have. Okay, it's disappointing. I am. Trust me, I've been someone who's been very critical about how they've addressed the offensive line in years past, but no matter how you may think of it, and I'm specifically talking about Creed Humphrey. Okay, the very night that draft night, I knew this would happen. I knew it would happen. I knew right away that drafting Tutu over Creed Humphrey was a mistake. I knew it that very night. And nothing against Tutu. I don't want to sound like a dick, but Lord have mercy, we had a specific need and a high quality player on the table, and we went ahead and drafted a wide receiver that we did not need and who didn't even suit up for Monday night. And look, I'm not here to beat up on Sean right now. Because here's the thing. I think they know deep down that they kind of screwed up with that pick. I really do. Like, I get the feeling that they missed. They know they missed. And it really doesn't help things now, you know, to continuously bring it up. But, I'll still bring it up every now and again just because, I feel like it. But honestly, it doesn't. As far as like what's going on right now, it's we have what we have. Dudes are injured. Coleman Shelton, I heard Coleman Shelton's going to be out multiple weeks now. So unless Brian comes back next week, it looks like we're going with Cologne again against the Cowboys, bro. And you know, hopefully we'll get David Edwards back. Hopefully his head's feeling better, but it's not looking too great on the offensive line. All right, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. That's not what this is. I'm just trying to tell y'all we are having some issues with the offensive line, and we are having some issues with injuries. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better anytime soon. Okay? It does not mean that this is going to kill our season. No. No. Okay? I want y'all to get that out of your head right now. Okay? Get it out of your head right now, because I'm hearing a lot of doom and gloom, all right, in Ramsland, a lot of doom and gloom, and I understand why. I really do. I really do. But the thing is, and I've been guilty of it, okay? I've been very guilty of being doom and gloom sometimes, overreacting. I'm a fan, okay? Fans are emotional. I can be emotional sometimes, all right? But in a situation like this, it's important. The reason why it I feel like we can overcome this is the fact that it happened just last year. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Last year, I felt like this has a feel like when we lost to the Titans on like Sunday Night Football last year, and I said this wasn't a Super Bowl team, that this O line was not good enough to win the Super Bowl, it was not physical enough, and we had some problems, and I was still salty about Creed Humphrey, and like it wasn't gonna work out. And what happened? And what happened, y'all? They won the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl. Much to my shock, mind you. And I'll sit up here and I'll admit I was wrong. I said this was not a Super Bowl team last year when we lost to the Titans, and I was feeling pretty salty. I said they weren't a Super Bowl team, and what did they do? They went on to win the Super Bowl. So, it's I really feel like if there's anyone in the league that can overcome this huge obstacle in front of us right now, it's Sean and his staff. I really do. It's I'm not trying to provide false hopium, to anyone, but I'm not saying we're gonna repeat. Not saying any of that right now. My suggestion to y'all as Rams fans is try to Like try to watch the games like the players and coaches prepare for them. Just enjoy each game by the week. That's how I usually watch it. Because it's stressful for me to like go, oh well, they might not make the playoffs or Super Bowl this year. Yeah, this that blah, blah, all that jazz. But the truth is, like, I like to watch Rams games one game at a time. So the only thing I'm focused on really right now is the Cowboys. Like, just try to think about the Cowboys game and enjoy the Cowboys game. It's it'll help with the stress. You know what I mean? It'll help with the stress. It can be really stressful. You know, and just it's just life's really hard, and you know what I mean. It's just the football's kind of a escape for all of us to escape to kind of get away from the struggles of the real world for like a few hours. So my suggestion is just try to enjoy the games individually. It seems to help me, is what I'm saying. So now, and the O line, I'm kind of in this kind of phase where I've accepted that our O line is going to be a problem for the rest of the 2022 season due to injuries, due to um, I can't think of a better word than neglect, but the fact that we just didn't prioritize getting the best offensive line we possibly could is kind of biting us in the butt. And honestly, this is kind of a result of all them trades too. To be honest with you, it's the Rams traded a lot of picks away to get these star players, and what we're left with now is kind of mid to low tier offensive linemen to fill out the line. But here's the thing, it, the strategy worked. They won the Super Bowl, so you know it's one of those things where now we're kind of in a situation where we used all these picks, got rid of all these picks, spent all this draft capital, spent all this money to win the Super Bowl, and we've done that. We've won the Super Bowl, but now it's kind of time. I feel like the bill's coming is coming now, and we have to pay that bill. And it's it's unfortunate because now we got like practice squad players as our starting center. We got a whole bunch of injuries, and it's not looking great. It's really not looking great. But you know what? You want to know something? It doesn't mean the season's lost. In fact, I think we could still have a really good season. And who knows? Anything can happen. If we make the tournament, anything can happen. And we are the Super Bowl champs, mind you. So it's just, I've just accepted that we have got injuries on the O line. Our O line is going to be subpar for the majority of this year. And it's just, we have what we have. And the suggestion I would just have to any of the offensive linemen who are starting right now, to like Cologne and all the Havenstein and AJ Jackson and anyone else who's going to be playing, just do the best you can. Just do the best you can, and it's all we can really ask for. And we'll try and make it work. Okay, we'll try. Sean will try and make it work. We'll try and make it work. Okay, listen, I'm not. I haven't always agreed with their decisions on building the offensive line, but we have what we have, and they're just gonna have to make it work. They're just gonna have to make it work. All right, so that's kind of my feelings towards the state of the offensive line as of right now. So, and with that porous O line play, everything kind of suffered. Our quarterback Matthew was not making very smart decisions. He was under constant duress, and it had to get the ball out, and he made some very poor decisions, through some game sealing picks, and he just didn't. Overall, I thought he performed decently, but the fact that he had people in his face the entire game caused him to make these poor decisions, and it's just, I hear a lot of people talking about, it's been funny hearing everybody kind of go, "Oh, Allen Robinson, we've been taken for a ride. The media's been hyping up Allen Robinson, and he ain't doing a damn thing." And I laughed because I got to be honest with you, I kind of was feeling the same way. I'm like, where the hell? All I was hearing throughout camp was how good Allen Robinson was, like how versatile he was, how much he was doing, how much he was picking up the offense. He was like a mini Cooper Cup. They compared him to Cooper Cup. All right, and we have not seen him like at all, dude. Like for 4 weeks of the season, and I started to think to myself because they were saying the same thing about Tutu, and I'm like, were y'all kind of were y'all kind of bluffing, Rams? Were y'all kind of bluffing? Were y'all kind of perhaps knowing that they were struggling, and but you wanted to kind of put up a front to like make defenses account for them or something? I don't know. I don't actually think that's what it was, but I would be lying to you if the thought didn't cross my mind. I'm not trying to throw shade. Like I said, this is not a bitch session. Yeah, I'm really trying not have it not to be, because I'm like in a spot where I'm just trying to kind of feel like where the state of the team is and where we will be going henceforth. And and the number one reason I don't think Allen Robinson, like I'll tell you why Allen Robinson hasn't been featured much. I'll tell you exactly why. I'll tell you right now. It is a couple, like two big things. Number one, it has been it's his first year. He clearly is still he clearly still does not have the chemistry down with Matthew. All right, he may know the plays, he may know like the schemes and whatnot, but him and Matthew just aren't vibing right now, and they don't have like chemistry going on. So it's something that can only be fixed with time, and so they're just gonna have to keep practicing together. If they can have extra reps after practice, maybe they can do that. But it's clear they don't have the chemistry right now. And the second big thing, and I promise, look, I'm not to the O line. Like the O line's like the center of our issues on offense, but I want to try and not beat up on them the entire podcast here. All right, but I'll point out certain things, but I've already kind of said my piece about the O line a few minutes ago, but it matters here because the second issue, why Allen Robinson hasn't really been involved, is that Matthew just he ain't got no time to throw it, like he ain't got no time to make his reads. It's crazy because like the Sanford, like Nick Bosa, Armstead, and the linebackers that they sent, the corners, like they were in his face immediately as soon as the ball was snapped, and Matthew had like no time at all to make his progressions. And what happens with any human being when they're pressured? Okay, they're not thinking as clearly, and for the quarterback, if he's under duress, what does he do? He goes to his security blanket, the person he trusts, the person he knows that can bail him out of any type of tough situation. And who is that? You all know who it is. It's Cooper Kupp. So Matthew is under constant duress, and he feels he needs to get the ball out to a sure-handed receiver, which is Cooper Cup, which d- d- Cooper Cup is the best receiver in the league. I don't want to hear none of this bullshit about Devontae Adams. I don't want to hear about Jefferson. I don't even know why he was in the conversation, and I don't want to hear it about Debo either. All right, screw Debo. Screw Debo. All right, Cooper Cup is the best wide receiver in the league, and it's just a situation where Matthew is not comfortable in the pocket. He's clearly not comfortable at all. At all. And it's really showing because I could. One thing I watch for when I watch these games, I watch the players' faces. Like, I want to watch their face, and like, I can generally tell if they're flustered or if they're like scared or if they're like ready to fight. And Matthew looked like flustered the majority of the game. He looked like bewildered. He was having a tough time. He was playing relatively well. He didn't play terribly, but he was pressured all night long, and he made some bonehead decisions. And that's going to happen when you have people in your face the entire game. So long, long night for the quarterback. We couldn't get any type of running game open. Our O line couldn't make any holes, and Cam Akers, Daryl Henderson didn't do a damn thing. It was, oh my god, dude! Like, I'm getting sick of watching these. I'm getting kind of sick of watching these runs go for like a half a yard to a yard. It's really something that has to be addressed. But like with the state of our offensive line, the thing is, I don't see our running game. uh, the running game improves if our O line improves, and our O line just I don't think is going to be improving anytime soon. So you have to find creative ways to get them the football. But here's the thing: Sean is doing that. Sean, like, I really don't have a lot to blame Sean for. I actually thought Sean came into this game with a good game plan. Ultimately, he is the head coach, he is the leader, so yes, he'll take the blame. But he Sean was not the reason we lost. It was the players were the reason we lost. All right, the execution was the biggest thing. All right, and he can scheme all he wants, but when our O line gets manhandled like they were, our running backs can't do anything. And unfortunately, that's what happened last night. Cam Akers couldn't do anything. Daryl Henderson couldn't do anything. Malcolm Brown, I don't even think he played. And it was a little irritating to watch. But the running game woes continue. It is what it is. We have what we have, and they just have to keep making it work. I did like because like I saw like Sean was doing everything he could. Like I saw they had the extra alignment in there. They had the tight ends in there, Higby and Blanton, and they also had the receivers like Cup on one side and Skoranek on the other as like extra blockers. And they still couldn't do anything, dude. And that's execution on the players, dude. So it's Sean can only do so much there. This is not. I don't hold Sean responsible for this. Really, it's the players gotta. Like, y'all gotta. I know it's easy for me to say because Sanford, like, it is not easy to like block someone like Nick Bosa. I'm sure of it, but Lord have mercy. Like, I mean, if y'all want to beat them, this season, you're gonna have to do that. So, and I could tell, I saw a little timidness in a lot of Rams players on Monday night. I'm not gonna lie. All right, it was disappointing to see. It wasn't everyone. There was a lot of there was quite a few who were, into the fight, but there was also a lot of people who did not want any part of the San Francisco. So, and I could see it on their faces. So that was disappointing. That was very disappointing to see. But it is what it is. They're big, they're strong. It's just one of those things we have to try and get over. And here's the thing, y'all can do it. Y'all just did it last year. Y'all just did it last year. Y'all just did it a few months ago. Like, you beat them in the NFC Championship game when the stakes could not have been higher. When the stakes could not have been higher. And y'all did it. So y'all can do it. You just gotta sack up a little bit. And yes, I'm sure if any of you players are listening to this, it's a little annoying hearing some dude who's just like sitting there on his couch with his Bud Light, with his cheese nips, all right? Watching the TV from the safety of his apartment, saying these things. I get it. I do. I'm sure it's annoying as hell, but you know what? You took the money. You took the money, all right? So with that, like, you got to be able to do if you took the money, you got to do the job, all right? Same with my job. So it's just it was it was just disappointing. It was disappointing. I really thought our O-line and running game would do a lot better. This, even despite the injuries, but we did not. So, is what it is. Defense. I thought the defense played relatively well. I thought the defense, for the most part, um, you take away those two pitiful, and I mean pitiful, pitiful plays, and you already know what I'm talking about. All right, you take away the one like 30-yard run by what's his name, Jeff Wilson, I think his name is, in the first quarter or something, for a touchdown. You take that play away, which honestly looked more like better execution on San Francisco's part than really any kind of blown assignment. I think San Francisco just did a better job on that play than we did. Okay? You have that, but then you have that pitiful, and I mean pitiful, Debo Samuel's, what was it, like 50 plus yard touchdown play, where we have Darion Kendrick, and I'm a fan of Darion Kendrick. Okay, I've been talking about Darion Kendrick for a while, and he's a rookie. I'm a big fan for him. He's going to do good things for us. Okay, sometimes you know how you just have a good feeling about players sometimes, and you just have this good feel like this guy's going to be successful. I had that feeling about Creed Humphrey. I had that feeling about Creed Humphrey. All right. And I had that feeling about Darion Kendrick, despite all the the off-field issues, I've talked about this before. Like, context matters, so you gotta, I don't want to get off into a tangent about that, but my point is, I had a good feeling about Darion being a good player for us, and being that I'm in the heart of Duval County, I see a lot of Florida, I see a lot of Georgia, so Darion was always a good looking player. But Darion goes up, he goes for the pick, which, if he goes for the tackle instead, maybe this doesn't happen. Him and Taylor Rapp could bring him down, or at least get him out of bounds, but he doesn't. He goes for the pick, which, I can't really fault him on that, to be honest with you, but it was disappointing because what happened next was just one of the most pitiful. All right, and dude, I'm really not trying to make this a bitch session, but Lord have mercy, that was so bad. All right, Debo Samuel's basically catches the ball. Taylor Rapp misses him. I think it was, dude. Oh my god, dude. He jukes the crap. I think it was Taylor Rapp. You have, I think, Haley. What was it, like, backpedaling, not wanting to tackle him, and then you have him completely run over Jalen Ramsey. Like Jalen Ramsey goes to tackle him, and the dude just bounces off Debo. And then Debo continues to go, the crowd screaming, and they score a touchdown. It was one of the most pitiful displays of defense I have ever seen. That I have ever seen. Okay? From this team. I was very disappointed in that. And once again, Raheem, and here we go again. Everyone's always. I'm not sold on Raheem, bro. I'm not. Okay, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything. I'm really not, man. I'm not trying to do like hot takes. I try not to do that on this channel. I have done it before. I really tried not to, but dude, I don't know. I don't know about Raheem because here's the thing: it's we need to get better tackling the foot tackling. All right, tackling. It seems to be a lost art in the NFL, and like we need to get better at it. You know, I was hearing the stats like, oh, the Rams are one of the best tackling teams in the NFL. Well, I'm like, I don't see it tonight. I don't see it tonight. And it wasn't everyone on defense. You know, I'm not saying it's the entire defense, but Lord have mercy, dude. It's like y'all didn't even want to touch him. Like that was it was embarrassing, dude, watching that. And like I said, I'm gonna be honest. I probably wouldn't want to tackle Debo either. That is a big man, like honestly. But and I know for a fact if I tried to tackle him, he would run my ass over, and like not even notice me. I'd go up there like get out, Debo. He's like get off me, get off me, get off me, Charles the Ram. You ain't doing nothing right now. You ain't doing nothing. And and then I would look like Jalen Ramsey just getting bouncing off him, you know. But Lord, all right. Despite those two plays, I thought overall we did decent on defense. Not great, but decent. I thought we handled the run game for the most part, despite those two plays. For the most part, I thought we handled it pretty well up until the second half where we were kind of giving way to them a little bit and we kind of were losing our grip. But for the majority of the game, despite those two run plays or those two big plays in general, I thought the defense played the run pretty well. Um, but again, we just somehow make Jimmy Garoppolo look like a future Hall of Famer every time we play him, bro. And it's like, and a lot of it has to do with this defense we run, where we just give them 5 easy yards. Jimmy Garoppolo's not going to try to throw deep, Raheem. All right, he's going to take those easy check down plays. All right, and he was just dicing us up in the middle, looking like a future Hall of Famer, looking like he's Joe Montana back there. Okay, couldn't do a damn thing against the Broncos the week before, but when he plays us, oh Lord, when he plays us, oh man, he's just a he's a Pro Bowler. They happy they didn't get rid of him now. Watch, he's gonna be the star when Trey Lance comes back. Even if Trey Lance is the starter and they come to play us and it's like Ram week, it's like Trey, take a break. We're gonna put Jimmy Garoppolo in there because Jimmy Garoppolo plays like he's a 5-time Super Bowl champion against the Rams. So it's just it is agonizing to watch. Agonizing, man. But it's I mean, they play. I thought the defense played better than the offense. D line, Aaron Donald was dominant like he usually is. I love watching Aaron Donald play. He's so physical. He's so dominant. He's such a playmaker. He does so many things for us, and it's so fun to watch him play. Like I know he only has a few seasons left, but it's so fun watching him play. All right, and Bobby Wagner, Bobby played well too. Um, Not as well as I hoped he would, but he played pretty well. He had a pretty good stop on the goal line. And he for the most part did pretty well. He took out like a San Fran fan, which was crazy. Apparently, some fan like ran onto the field and Bobby just like tackled him. That was nuts to hear. And I'm like, why didn't y'all show it? Like, I know they don't want to air it just to kind of discourage that kind of behavior, but I would have liked to seen it. I saw the photo, but I didn't see it like real time. It was funny because you could hear the announcers. They were like, and there's a fan on the field, and like literally the cameras like pointed at the players who were just standing around waiting, and it's he's like they go, oh, hey, looks like Bobby Wagner. Looks like Bobby Wagner took him down, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, Bobby Wagner. You telling me Bobby Wagner tackled a fan? That's nuts. But hey, good on Bobby, man. Good on Bobby. The linebackers, I thought Ernest Jones played pretty well. Um, Bobby played well. Our secondary, despite the injuries, played well. Darion, despite that, he went for the big play, but he missed. That's going to happen. Can't really beat him too much for that. Beat him up too much for that. It's unfortunate how it ended up, though, with it turning into one of the most pitiful displays of defenses I've ever seen. But it is what it is. And look, ultimately, I'll conclude with this. Because I've been going on for a little bit. Here's the thing to remember: we're the Super Bowl champions. Okay, we had tough spots before, and things seem to work out. Look what happened. I alluded to it earlier in the video that we had similar problems last year that I thought would prevent us from winning the championship. And look, they won and they won it. Okay? There's a we did just win the Super Bowl. We do have to be grateful for that, you know? Cuz I'm right in the heart of Duval, and trust me, these Jaguar fans would love to see the Jaguars win the Super Bowl. So, we got to remember, it's just we just got to be a little grateful, for the team. And I know that's hard, and it's not something you want to hear right now. Trust me, I know. Trust me. All right, it hurts getting whooped by your rival. It sucks. All right, okay. I seen all the social media posts. I seen all the clowning and all that. Here's the thing: you just have to ignore it. You just kind of have to not even pay attention to it, because they won the game. They won it fair and square. Now they get their opportunity to crow and to talk trash. It's just how it works. It's sports. You know, they won. They get to clown us a little bit. So it is what it is. We just got to eat it. I hate saying that, man. Damn it. We have to eat it. To the damn 49ers again. But here's the thing. We have what we have. We have a lot of injuries. We have what we have. We'll roll with. We can only go into battle with the people we have. And for better or for worse, that's just how it's going to be. Okay? And this does not mean that our season is lost. I think we can still have a pretty good season. I think we'll still win a lot of games. I still think we can even make the playoffs. And here's the thing: you just have to make it, because once you make it, anything can happen. All right. So I still think this is going to be a good year. We just have a little bit of adversity, but Sean and his staff has proven that they can work through adversity and produce good results. So I'm not worried at all. I'm not. Okay, this one does sting, I'm not going to lie, but it's just we have what we have. and we just have to make it work. We just have to find a way to make it work, and I trust that Sean will do that. Okay, I trust that Sean and the players specifically, because I thought the players were more so the problem in this game, not Sean, will bounce back. I think they will challenge themselves and learn from these things, and hopefully have a better performance against the Cowboys. So that's my thought on it. It sucks losing to the 49ers, but here's the thing, and I suppose I'll end with this. Yeah, we lose to the 49ers a lot. You know, yeah, it kind of sucks that we've lost, what was it, like seven out of the last eight outings. But here's the thing, I would, in my lifetime, I would I would take all these embarrassing losses, all right? I would take the six game win streak. I would take the embarrassment of Debo running over our pitiful defensive performance on that one play. I would put up with the memes, put up with the social media clowning, all the clowns, and all the embarrassment that comes with getting whooped repeatedly by the 49ers, our most hated rival. I would take that in a heartbeat. Okay? I would take that all day long over losing to your main rival in the NFC Championship game with an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, okay? And win the Super Bowl. I would take all these losses, the six-game losing streak, the embarrassment on Monday night, the clowning, all that. The embarrassment, the little interviews, with Debo making and all this, the clowning, all that. I would take that all if it meant that we would beat them only one time, but that one time was in the NFC Championship game, which propelled us to the Super Bowl, to propelled us to winning said Super Bowl and becoming Super Bowl champions of the league. 10 years from now, no one's going to really remember the Monday night game, okay? But they will remember the NFC Championship game where we came from behind 10 points, from a double-digit points, all right? We were down by 2 scores in the fourth quarter again in the NFC Championship game, and we came back and we beat this 49er team when it mattered most. We beat them when it mattered most. So y'all, if them San Fran players want to clown, and if they want to run their trap, and they want to talk all that trash, and they want to say, oh, look, we dominated them. Look how much we dominated them. Oh, like we're big and bad, this, that. If you want to do that, you go right ahead. You can go ahead and have these regular season games that no one will remember, in a decade or so. Okay? I will be happy with us eliminating you from the playoffs in the championship game when the stakes were at its highest. Okay? I would just take that all day. If it meant, even if we got swept by them again this year, I would still take that. Because at the end of the day, Sean has the ring. Kyle Shanahan don't have the ring. Kyle Shanahan chokes. In the big game. Jimmy Garoppolo chokes in the big game. Okay? Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy Garoppolo whooped us Monday night. Yes, they did. They embarrassed us Monday night. It was bad. But you know what? In the history books, when it mattered the most, we came out on top. We did. We won that championship game. All right? People are going to remember the Rams being victorious over the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. No one's going to remember this 7 out of 8 win streak. No one really cares, dude. Okay? We got the ring. Okay? Kyle Shanahan, his legacy is kind of tarnished by choking all the damn time in the playoffs. All right? So keep those regular season victories, man. You keep them. You go ahead and keep that. You keep that. I will take my one victory in the NFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl and win said Super Bowl. I will take that any day of the week. We're going to be okay, y'all. We're going to be okay. Got some injuries, we got some adversity, but we have what we have player-wise, and we are just going to have to make it work. We're just going to have to make it work. And I believe that we will. So, that's going to be it for now. I'll catch you guys on the next one. And as always, a fan of your Super Bowl champion Rams. Go Rams.